Hey class, my name is Emily Francis. I am going to do my project on Roseto, Pennsylvania. I have lived here for about 10 years now. Um, I chose to do this because it's a little rural town in Pennsylvania, and I felt that I didn't really know a lot of history about it, so it was kind of cool to see what I've been living in the last 10 years and what my family lives in, and um, the whole nine yards. So let's get started. So there's my house. I live on a small street. Roseto is in northeastern Pennsylvania, and it is right near, it borders Bangor, Pennsylvania, and Stroudsburg, where the Delaware Water Gap is. Um, we are known for the Italian heritage that affiliates Roseto. So I'm going to get a little bit into the background here in a minute, but I am not Italian, but my in-laws are, and they also live in Roseto. So Roseto, Pennsylvania was created in 1912. The Townsend Corporation Committee petitioned the Common Pleas Court of Northampton County, and Judge Henry Scott granted consent to incorporate the borough on January 2nd, 1912. Roseto became the first 100% Italian borough in the United States of America. So that was really awesome to learn about. So, according to our Millington readings this week, what classifies a town and brings us together is every type of community by the purpose that brings them together. So, I'm going to go into a little bit of different purposes that bring our community together in Pennsylvania. So, the first classifying is interest. So, communities of people who share the same interests or passions. So, our small town has a huge interest in the Italian heritage, obviously, since we are the first ever borough of the United States to be an Italian borough. We have many fairs and activities. They have tons of families. Nights and activities monthly. They are all found on the homepage of the town. We are very big on sports, and we border Bangor, so everyone in Roseto goes to Bangor School District, and they kind of come together when it comes to football, baseball. Roseto has its own baseball team, its own baseball fields, and softball as well. Roseto is known for its Catholic religion and all of its Catholic schools. We have 3 currently in the system that are Catholic schools that I never personally attended, but I had lots of friends who did. Next, when classifying Roseto, we talk about the action, the communities of people trying to bring about the change. So every month, the Roseto Borough Council is held on the first Monday, providing public services through efficient protection, emergency medical care, recreation, planning, zoning, permitting, and enforcement of general ordinances. So the town is very clean. It's very on top of everything. They try really hard to make sure everyone stays communicated and we are a safe community. So I loved that about Roseto, and I feel like that really brings out the good community in the town. Next, when classifying Roseto, Pennsylvania, and what brings us together is the place, the communities of people brought together by geographic boundaries. So a lot of people who reside in Roseto commute to work in the surrounding areas such as Stroudsburg, Allentown, and Wingate. My parents personally commute to Allentown, so that is definitely true when looking at the statistics. Roseto is also known for many small businesses ran by members of the community, creating a connection in geographical boundaries. So we have a lot of barbershops, little delis, stores. So that's really nice to have too. Next in classifying Roseto is our practice. Communities of people in the same profession undertake the same activities. So most common occupations, according to city data, are sales and retail occupations, but office and administrative support obviously follows very closely with the 14% compared to the 16%. The construction and extraction occupations, Roseto has a roofing company in it that a lot of the customer or the clients and live in Roseto, and a lot of the workers also live in Roseto. The building, grounds, cleaning, and maintenance occupations are at 9%. Installation, maintenance, and repair occupations, 9%. Management, 6%, and transportation is also 6%. So, like I said, the communities of people in the same profession or undertake the same activities is actually a lot more diverse than I originally thought it would be, but it's really cool to see all the different occupations people have in this town. So we're going to get into the demographics a little bit. So Roseto is really small. In 2014, it was reported that only 1,559 people lived here. It is 100% urban. The males outnumber the females only by a small percentage of 1%. So that's something that I take into consideration when looking at Roseto, because a lot of people that live here are older married couples, and I see how that can even out to the male-female ratio. The median age is 40. The median household income is about $57,000. The property rate is very low in Roseto since it's so small. It's at 8%. The number of employees is 823. So all the small businesses that are in Roseto have a 823 number of employees, which is crazy since there's only 1,500 people in the town. That it shows you how many employees work in the town and live in the town. The median property value is $159,000. I can vouch for that because my neighbor is selling their house right now for $155,000. So that was really cool to see. In 2016, there were 36.4 times more white residents in Roseto than any other race or ethnicity. There were 42 Hispanic and 26 2+ residents, the second and third most common racial or ethnic group. So I made a little chart on the side, and it kind of gives you the racial graph. So next, we're going to talk about language in Roseto. 66, which is a very small amount of people of Roseto citizens, are speakers of non-English language, which is lower than the national average of 21%. In 2015, the most common non-English language spoken in Roseto, PA was Italian. So that makes a lot of sense since the borough is an Italian borough. 1.6% of the overall population in Roseto are native Italian speakers, and 93.93% speak Spanish, and 0.86% speak Portuguese, the two most second common languages in Roseto. Our community focuses a lot on health. We just recently came across a new St. Luke's hospital that is very close in the next town over. Insurance and Medicaid coverage combined with state and county level health and safety statistics for Roseto, Pennsylvania. In Northampton County, PA, the age groups most likely to have health care coverage are 6 to 17 and 55 to 64, women and men respectively. So the location has a 1 to 81 primary care clinician to patient ratio. Roseto is also known for its very low heart disease rates. There's many studies done that people in Roseto live a long and happier, healthy life. The overall sense of community and friends and neighbors took time, but that's still how it is these days. I mean, all of our neighbors know each other. Everyone's very community oriented. So that also plays part in the good community sense. Everyone has mutual respect for each other and the corporations that are ran in the town. And people don't drop by anymore, but it's something I think that life just happens, and the community is very busy, busier than it has been in a long time. So it's nice to see that when people do that, that they still do that. So our last thing with classifying Roseto is circumstance. Communities of people brought together by external events and situations. So the biggest thing that I love about Roseto is every year Roseto throws a community event called the Big Time. So the highlight of each year is the civil and religious celebration held by Our Lady of Mount Carmel Catholic Church. The tradition of the celebration was a carryover from Roseto Val Forte in Italy, which was really awesome to learn about. In July 1895, Rosetoans held their first spiritual celebration to honor the Blessed Mother of Jesus. So the Big Time attracted people from as far as Canada, and many relatives and friends came to take part in this celebration, and we still do. The carnival grounds in 1895 were filled with sideshows, rides, high wire trapeze acts, and man shot out of a cannon. So that ended with big display of fireworks. The Italian foods were sold in large quantities, and celebration earned large amounts of money in support Our Lady Mount Carmel. So we still celebrate the Big Time. It was their 125th anniversary this past July. In recent days, it's just a 3-day civil festival known as the Big Time, and a 2-day spiritual celebration with a Saturday night crowning festival, the Queen, and the parade down Garibaldi Avenue, which is about 2 streets over from my house. So it's really neat to watch all of that. And I really strongly believe that in a good community that it's nice to have that sense of communication with everyone. When everyone goes, we're all happy, we're drinking, we're eating Italian food. There's tons of stands. The entire neighbors are out. Everyone sits on their porches all night long. It makes the community great. Next, some industries are Our Lady of Mount Carmel Parish. This is the biggest church within the biggest Catholic church within miles of Roseto. So a lot of people from different communities also come to this church. In Roseto, most people are Catholic at a 27% rate. It has gone down a little in the past years, but compared to the 2000s, it hasn't dropped too much. So our political views in Roseto are mostly Democratic over the years, but since the recent elections with Trump, we have been switching more Republican. Another industry is the General Sewing Machine Company. This company was here for years since Roseto started. It's only open 1 day a week, but it is still up and running. The next industry is the Roseto Municipal Building, which is where the council meets every week and everyone gets together and goes over the town issues and what's happening. So that's a little bit about Roseto. My references are on the last page. I just want to say that Roseto is a great community, and I love the change they bring every time they have a meeting and the positive outlook they try to give the community, the cleanness that they give, the making sure our streets are taken care of. The poverty level is low. We have a almost 0% crime rate, so we are in a very good stage right now. And so that's my presentation. Thanks, guys.